Ian Dudson is Staffordshire's Lord Lieutenant and is now the King's personal representative in the county and was at the funeral yesterday. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Lee.
The first question's the obvious one. What was it like to be there?
Well, I'm having just listened to your clips again. You've brought back all those mixed emotions that you referred to. But like you, I felt just a full range of emotions during the funeral. It was an absolutely incredible experience, and some admiration for the life she's led, tinged with lots of parts in the service where the sadness, the realisation that this was the final goodbye, was there in front of us.
The reason that I've been, or one of the reasons that I've been bigging up the TV coverage so much is because it was that strong, it was that well done, it was that powerful. It made the whole nation, if not the whole world, feel like we were in Westminster Abbey yesterday. To actually be inside, how extra emotional do you feel it was to witness it firsthand rather than through the lens of a camera?
Well, I think I haven't seen I recorded the BBC coverage and I'll watch it when I've got sufficient time to do so. But my personal experience of it was one tiny part of the day in some respects. What I think those of us who were fortunate enough to be there, it was the atmosphere inside the Abbey that is very difficult to transmit through the television. There was, we were there for several hours before the service started, and of course at that stage, everything was quite light-hearted. The first moment for me was when the Great West Door was open, and we could hear the gun carriage and the piper approaching, and that's really when the Abbey just went quiet, and for the rest of the actual service, just amazing emotions, and so privileged to be there and so privileged to be representing the county. Sorry, go on.
I'm trying to guess what the adjective is to describe the atmosphere in there, because it didn't come across as a sombre atmosphere. I wouldn't go as far as to say it seemed like an over-the-top celebration of life. It seemed very still. It seemed very poignant. I'm not sure if you can add an adjective to describe it being there yourself.
I'm not sure I can use one adjective, because I think it was, as you said right at the beginning, I think it was a service of very, very mixed elements. And the calmness that you refer to, I think, has been there throughout the 12 days in many respects. The huge crowds, there's always been a stillness and a calmness. And that was there in the Abbey. But at certain moments of the service, somebody referred to the piper at Windsor Castle. The piper playing just at the end of the service was, for me, probably the most emotional part. But then on the other side, I've just listened to the clip of the national anthem, and 2,000 people singing God Save the King was a huge reminder of the structure in this country that means that, there is an unbroken line, and our King, and we're now singing God Save the King. I mean, that was a tear-jerking moment, but for completely different reasons.
Yeah, with the greatest of respect to the King as well. I said this on the show yesterday. It just feels odd, not in a bad way or anything like that. It's because for decades and decades we've been so used to singing "God Save the Queen," and now it's a different word in there, which just really does bring it all home. Whereabout were you sitting, Ian?
I was fortunate enough to be on the front row of the nave, so the processions came in right in front of me, right past me. I mean, you don't, unless you're right in the area of the altar in the Abbey, you don't see a lot of what is happening at the sharp end, so to speak. But sitting in the nave, watching the processions come from the west door up towards the altar, was just an amazing and in many respects a real experience, because the world was represented there. And I've been fortunate to go to some Jubilee services over the years in London, but I don't think anything got close to the magnitude of that particular event yesterday.
Ian, thank you ever so much for sharing your experience with us. Really do appreciate it.